Welcome to your CCH Business Fitness training tutorial. Today we'll be looking at the Mixed Use Asset Calculator. This clever workbook calculates GST and income tax adjustments for mixed use assets. Calculations apply to all entity types except non-closed companies and cover the new rules that have come into effect from the 2013 to 14 tax year for mixed use holiday homes and from the 2014 to 15 tax year for mixed use boats and aircraft. The Mixed Use Assets Calculator helps determine what assets are caught by the new Mixed Use Assets rules and applies the relevant calculations for both income tax adjustments and GST adjustments. Resulting adjustments are helpfully summarised, allowing easy actioning for GST and income tax returns. Let's take a look. On the cover page, enter your client details and entity type. You'll need to prepare one workbook per asset, which will roll over from year to year for the life of the asset, or up to 10 years. The next page is a conditional criteria questionnaire and helps determine whether the asset is mixed use as determined by the new rules. Once we have determined whether we have a mixed use asset or not, the worksheet will list the calculations which need to be undertaken. The worksheet also contains references and links to the relevant section of the CCH Master Tax Guide. For this particular asset, we need to use the change of use calculator for asset adjustment, the mixed use asset GST adjustment calculator for expenditure adjustment, and the mixed use asset income tax calculator. Our first calculation sheet is the change of use calculator. First, we enter asset details. As usual, a red corner to a cell indicates a note. This will then lead on to the GST calculations, where we will be given the GST claimable on purchase. We see whether the de minimis rule applies and the number of GST adjustment periods projected over the life of the asset. These fields will fill as we do our calculations. Each year you can enter the taxable use, see adjustments and exclusions, and at the bottom of the worksheet we can do the final GST adjustment on sale. The next calculation sheet is for an exempt asset taxable use. This is for assets purchased prior to 1 April 2011 and does not apply to our example today. Select the adjustment option. If a one-off GST adjustment was made at the time of purchase, there will be no calculations required. There is also a calculation sheet for taxable assets with exempt use, again for assets purchased before 1 April 2011 and does not apply to our example today. We then move on to the GST adjustment for mixed use assets. This calculation sheet does the annual calculation of deductions and GST adjustment and is built year upon year for up to 10 years, and the relevant sections are shown by ticking the boxes. Input the year or balance date and tick the box. The first estimated taxable use will flow through from the change of use sheet but can be overwritten. Enter expenses. Ensure that you read the notes on each cell as this provides your definitions. Move on to filling in the income earning days and private use days. Again, take careful note of those definitions. The final detail is the outcome of what adjustment is required. The second and subsequent years will base their estimated taxable use on the previous year's actual taxable use. The next calculation sheet is the income tax calculation for mixed use assets. This works in a similar way to the previous, with the years being built up. The expenses pull through from the GST adjustment sheet, and you can use the plus minus button to add rows for GST exclusive expenses. Note that in the actual taxable use section, the definitions are different for income tax purposes. The final sheet summarises the adjustments needed each year. There is also a built-in checkbox function so you can tick off when the adjustments have been made. The next step is to work through those adjustments. For more detail on adjustments surrounding mixed-use assets, consult the Mixed Use Assets procedure in your CCH Business Fitness content suite. We hope you enjoy using our Mixed Use Assets Calculator, and we welcome your feedback and suggestions. If you need any assistance, please call 0800 10 58 60 or email support@businessfitness.co.nz.